I'm here with Cheryl Rife. She is the proprietor here at the Three Elzabeths Guest House in Elizabeth, Illinois. And this is a very, very homey feel for a guest house. Tell me a little bit about your business.
Well, welcome. I'm glad to have you here. This is kind of a unique little spot here in Elizabeth on the corner of a bustling Route 20 intersection. And I have 3 rentable spaces that are available to guests at any point, and as well as the whole house. So you can come and reserve just one guest room and come and go, or you can decide to stay in the whole house, rent all 3 guest rooms, and enjoy the whole house.
Yeah, it's a guest house. You're not a B&B. This is you can come in and you could be sharing the space with a couple other folks, or it could just be you and your entire family taking over the whole space. And that's a really interesting concept as far as just being able to there's a chance for having some interesting opportunities, having a nice chat with other guests out on the front porch, or we're making breakfast in the morning here, huh?
Yeah, exactly. I have, the back deck, and I know that sometimes guests are in the back deck. The front porch is a really popular spot, and many people are always out on the front porch. I see them as I come and go, and others in town will comment. But it becomes kind of a place, I think, that people feel like they're coming home, and yet it is, private, and they're able to be secluded in their guest room if they so choose.
Right. So. Or out exploring downtown. I mean, we're right on downtown Elizabeth here. It's got wonderful little shops, some great little bars and restaurants as well. And you're just right downtown. Tell me a little bit about the Elizabeth community.
We have a vision of being in the heart of Joe Davis County and, becoming a very energetic place for people to be. So from, the parks in town to the museum to the Apple River Fort to our good restaurants and now craft beer, we have, I think, lots to offer. That may be something that's kind of a hidden gem. Yeah, I think so, and it's interesting. I have a guest book where people can leave me notes or they send me emails and comment about how, we had plans to go to so many places, but we spent our whole weekend in Elizabeth.
There's a lot to do for a nice, quiet, relaxing weekend here. Amazing. So tell me, we got 3 rentable spaces. Tell me a little bit about the building itself.
Well, this is a house that was built in the late 1800s, around 1890. Elizabeth's first doctor lived here.
Interesting.
Dr. Beebe had raised his 5 children here. And, it just has kind of evolved then. Was a rooming house in the 30s. One of the ads I've seen said that it was had plenty of hot water.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about how you came into the house. How long have you been here?
I purchased the house in 2014, interested in kind of dabbling in the bed and breakfast environment, enjoyed staying in bed and breakfasts, and thought I want to give that a try. So did some research and attended some classes and things for several years on how do you do it. Yeah. And so this came available, and timing is everything.
But this isn't your first occupation. Tell me a little bit about your previous life.
Well, I am a nurse by background. I worked for FHN in Freeport and surrounding counties for 40 plus years. Worked as a nurse for quite a few years, and then through ongoing training and education and things like that, got into some leadership roles, and was very active last year as the organization prepared for meeting the demands of COVID, but it was also time for me to retire.
Right.
So
I'd say 40 plus years is that's a pretty good haul. Yeah. And it's really, a lot of people don't think about working in the medical profession as a hospitality business, but there's a lot of hospitality that goes into being a medical professional.
Yeah, there sure is. And you realize that people have choices and they have certain expectations. And first you need to understand what their expectations are, and then you need to do your best to meet those. So When I think about the guest house, I think, what would I want if I was here? What would I expect if I was here?
Right.
And try to go forward accordingly. And I'm always appreciative of people's feedback. If they give me some suggestions, I take those and run with them. Maybe things I hadn't thought of. And I know you're going to ask me about the name, the Three Elzabeths,
right?
Because I have to tell that part of the story.
We're in Elizabeth, Illinois, and this is the Three Elzabeths. How did that name come about?
Exactly. We have the Apple River Fort here in town, a fort that was or is famous for the settlers and Black Hawk Indian battle in 1832, and in the fort, there were three Elizabeths: Elizabeth Armstrong, Elizabeth Winters, and Elizabeth von Valkenburg. And there were only a few men in the fort, actually. And it's an interesting story. It's posted on the wall, framed. But it's a story about how the Indians attacked a few men, but the women were there loading guns so they could fire. And so the town was named after the Elizabeths. I think there's still some disagreement on which one it was named after, but each of my three spaces is named in honor of each one of those Elizabeths. So,
Cheryl, this is an incredibly homey space. This is a lovely opportunity for people to get out and get out of your normal space and explore some different parts of our area.
Exactly. I really am pleased when people come, because now with our pandemic kind of environment, sometimes people come and their kids have been continuing their college classes here. I mean, they're connected to the internet and they're doing class from here, and the family can come here and still carry on with work. And so,
right. I mean, just because you're working from home doesn't mean you have to stay at home.
Home can be here.
Well, Cheryl, thank you so much for your time, and I really appreciate it.
Sure, absolutely. Thanks for coming.